welcome again to my YouTube channel. It's been a while since I actually posted videos because syempre medyo busy sa school. We have a lot of papers to comply. Plus that aside from teaching, I am also a valuable coach. And we had a lot of tournaments and leagues this past few months. Medyo jump-pack talaga yung April at saka yung May natin. So we were able to had some out-of-town leagues na may mga major tournaments din tayo na sinalihan, and I'm so happy that we were able to bring home the silver and the gold medals. Ayan. So medyo successful po yung tournaments natin because sa lahat po ng sinalihan namin, we were able to bring home silver and gold. So lahat po yan, beach volleyball at saka Nopsea volleyball individual skills, we were able to bring home silver and gold. So shout out sa lahat ng mga players ko na nagsasubscribe sa aking videos, sa lahat ng mga fans ng team namin. So thank you so much. So please just keep on supporting our team. At saka sa mga hindi pa po nag-subscribe, please don't forget to like and subscribe my YouTube channel. So for our content for today's video is actually this would be my final oral recitation for my masteral classes. I am actually taking Masters of Arts in Teaching General Sciences at Carlos Hilado Memorial State University. Hello! Shout out sa tanan ko na ang mga teachers, mga na-classmates ko sa KAMSU. Hello, and kakayanin natin to. Few more semesters left for us. I know we're having hard time. So please, walang bibitaw lang sa atin. Kaya natin to. We have to finish this with grace and with joy. Lahat tayo gagraduate. Ayan. So this is my final oral recitation for my subject, which is the Sci-Spec 501. Tama ba? It's an intensive course for science laboratory, and we are under Sir Alberto. Hello, Sir Alberto. Shout out. Mimiss ka namin, sir. Mga jokes mo, sir. Mga corny, mga jokes, sir. Mamiss gina namin, sir. So in this oral presentation, actually we're supposed to visit some laboratories here in Bacolod or somewhere in the province. However, kasi nga, because it's pandemic, so there are some companies who are not entertaining visitors, especially those who want to visit their laboratories, their equipment. So we were not able to have it. But instead, with the initiative of our beloved teacher, beloved Professor Sir Alberto, instead of going there actual or face-to-face, or we have to visit there, we just had a virtual tour with some of the active laboratories here in the Philippines. No? So actually, in this oral presentation, we are actually tasked to give comments or to give reactions with the videos, with what we have seen, with what we have learned on the video. So here's my take. Actually, one thing that struck me most when I was watching the video was actually how Libertad National High School prepared their equipment, their materials for the laboratory room. I am so amazed with how they went through with their biological and earth science laboratory room. Kasi, it's really so amazing to know that despite of them being a public school, yet they still manage to purchase and acquire those laboratory equipment. And it's really very, very amazing because students can actually learn how to manipulate these equipment. Especially those, I actually saw some telescopes, DNA structure, solar system, tectonic plates model, the human torso, the microscope. So actually, those are just some of the equipment na, you could tell that these are very, very useful with how students can learn. No? So I just actually wish that all public schools can actually have that, no? But not all. Because there are schools, especially us, we are located in an extension school. It's actually in a rural area of Victoria City. So medyo we don't have a laboratory room. Sadly, we don't have a laboratory room, and some of our laboratory apparatuses and materials are actually alternative resources. So instead of using some the actual tools, we are actually doing our initiative to look for a creative way, to look for another way on how students can actually still perform experiments despite of the lack of resources. So it's actually, it's happy to know that there are really some schools who are making effort in purchasing these apparatuses because it's really essential. I mean, students nowadays are really curious, or we could say na they are more now on discovering things, and through this equipment, through these apparatuses, they can actually guide them on how to look objects using a microscope, what is happening if they're going to view some specimen under a microscope, how does DNA look like, how does a moon looks like if it's full moon using a telescope, so stuff like that. It can actually guide students, it can actually nurture students on how to use it, and and on how they could learn well despite of despite of the lack of resources of other schools. But yeah, it's really good to hear, good to see that there are schools who are making efforts for that. And also one thing that I am also amazed with the videos that Sir Alberto has sent us, or has toured us virtually, was the safety laboratory procedures. Yes, these safety laboratory procedures are really very, very important. Why? Because in using the laboratory, we never know, there are some probably accidents, hindi natin alam. There might probably spills of chemical which we do not know, which we could not anticipate, di ba? So through that video, we were actually able to learn the proper way on how to keep the chemicals, on how to properly label those chemicals, how to keep and store those chemicals, especially that we are dealing with teenagers. And we know that teenagers medyo makakati yung mga kamay, medyo makukulit. So there's a tendency na if they do not know what they are using, or they are handling, if they do not know what they are handling, probably magkakaroon talaga ng aksidente, di ba? So especially if we are going to use some corrosive chemicals or dangerous chemicals which can actually harm them. So through that, students can learn how to properly manage it and how to handle it. And also one thing that makes me appreciate the video is that teachers nowadays are actually having more time and more ideas on how to use alternative resources or alternative apparatus just to compensate the learning of the students. It's also a challenge for us on how to be resourceful, that despite of the lack of materials, the lack of resources, yet we still manage to provide them with the apparatus that they need, although hindi naman talaga ganun yung apparatus na kailangan nila, but at least we have to improvise something, and that's what this course is all about. It's not just about learning how to use those equipments, it's not just about learning how to acquire those, but it's actually giving us a broad perspective that despite of the lack of resources, despite of the scarcity of resources, yet we can still have the idea to look for alternative ways. And that's a challenge for us teachers on how to share the learnings for our students despite of the scarcity of resources. And my reflection, actually, I was really so amazed, and alam mo yun nakakataba ng puso to know that there are schools who are doing their best to share the knowledge of science with the students. And ako, personally, I just wish that our school could have those equipment, pero medyo mahihirapan tayo dyan because we are an extension school. But I'm not saying it's impossible, Maybe maybe in the next years from now, maybe we could look for better sponsors, better budget, diba? Baka naman mayor, charing. Baka naman dyan, baka may gusto mong sponsor, kahit mga small things lang for our apparatuses, diba? And hopefully, we could have shared it with our future students na mas mas magiging mapangahas, charot, mas magiging, ano ba, mas magiging alerto sa mga kaalaman, especially when it comes to science. So my reflection was about me being so appreciative with the Libertad National High School. It's just so amazing to hear and to see how they take care of the laboratory and how they share their practices in the laboratory, especially with the safety procedures. Ayan. So that's all for my reflection. That's all for my oral recitation. And syempre, dahil tapos na ako sa aking oral recitation, syempre shout out sa kanyang mga classmates. Hello, syempre sa amiga ko si Karen Gumban, si Ma'am Jessie Lu, Ma'am Judeline Alberca, Ma'am Arlene Sigaton, sino pa ba? Si Miss Kay Bolo, hello Mami Kay, si Ira Gumban, Miss Jessica Montalvo, Ma'am Shirley Gustilo, Ma'am April Mabuyaw, Ma'am Jenny Lu Hondon, Ma'am Katkat, and syempre sa aming magiping na Professor Sir Alberto de la Cruz. Ayan. Sir, thank you so much. We have learned a lot from you and hope to see you soon and work with you soon. Medyo short lang yung time natin kasi we were not able to maximize our learnings because nga, it's pandemic. And it's hard for us to do face-to-face. But nevertheless, we have learned a lot. And we have experienced how to use microscope again and to perform laboratory again despite the short period of time. So thank you so much. And to all my classmates, kaya natin to. Thank you so much. So for everyone who have not yet subscribed and liked my videos, please do subscribe now. Thank you so much, everyone. God bless.